My first Grappling Industries, I broke my arm but continued for 6 more matches after that. We're back, and I wanted to make a video giving like a top 10 competition tips or something like that for you guys. But I actually thought it'd be a lot more entertaining if I simply told you guys some of my competition stories and got my point across like that instead. And there's no better place to start than my first ever Grappling Industries and how that competition went for me. And just to clarify, the vast majority of this story is a what not to do story, and it's more of a cautionary tale so that you don't repeat my mistakes. So let's dive in. And right off the bat, I was setting myself up for failure before the comp even started because I was really interested in competing in no-gi. However, I saw that they were running a 2-for-1 deal and was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'll jump into the gi as well. And what I knew but didn't take as seriously as I should have is that Grappling Industries is a round robin tournament, meaning that you have a guaranteed of 4 matches per division, which means that I would have a guaranteed 8 matches, which is an absolutely insane number of matches to have for your first comp. But I had the delusional confidence only an 18-year-old can have, and I thought to myself, man, I do 10 rounds in the gym all the time. 8 rounds is gonna be easy. Um, Long story short, it wasn't easy at all. And going into this first match, I was super, super nervous because I was taking it way too seriously, but I also didn't realize how much the competition was actually going to stress me out because I had competed in a lot of different things before, but nothing like jiu-jitsu. And jiu-jitsu definitely felt different. I felt a level of adrenaline I had never felt before. And remember, during the entirety of my blue belt career, I had a triangle and a dream. So when I went up against the first guy and he stacked his way out of my triangle, I had literally nothing. And he took my back and bone arrow choked me, and my first match ended in like 2 minutes. But you know what? It happens. Statistically, half of us going to the first match and lose. But this second match, that's where things got interesting. And going into the second match, which is actually the match that's playing on the screen, I just knew that I didn't want to get submitted again because that kind of sucked and I didn't want to have to repeat that experience. And we're having a pretty back and forth match, but I come up on like a deep half sweep. I think it just happened in the video. But anyways, I come up and my opponent throws on a tegatame. And I didn't even know what a fucking tegatame was at the time, but it absolutely destroyed my arm because it ended up popping like 3 or 4 times. And yeah, it was pretty bad. And honestly, it came on too fast for me to tap to, but by the time I realized what had happened, my elbow was already out and my arm was no longer popping. So I was like, well, like I'll keep going, no big deal. Like my elbow popped, but I feel all right. It kind of hurts a little bit, but like I'll keep going. So we keep going, and I'm slowly starting to realize that the arm is actually no good, and like really, really not good because I can't really even grip fight anymore. And I decide, man, like I don't want to get past and submitted again, so I'm just gonna grab onto this guy's collar and just hold on as tight as possible because if I can't beat him, I might as well try to stall him out because I just don't want to lose. And by some miracle, and it's still the only crosstroke I've ever finished in competition, I managed to tap the guy out because I guess I was holding on with so much strength from the adrenaline and like with so much determination of not wanting to lose that it was just in the right spot and I managed to get the victory. So now I'm one on one with a broken arm, and honestly, if we call it there, pretty good story. But here is where it turns into a cautionary tale of don't be like me. Like I said, I was taking the comp way too seriously and I was approaching it from a mindset of somebody that had competed in endurance sports their whole life, where no matter what happens, you finish the race. In my mind, I had committed to 8 matches and I was gonna do those 8 matches. Like, I would have to die for me not to step into that mat once again. And that was a really bad mindset to have and a really bad idea that I urge anybody not to repeat because there's no competition that's more important than your health, and especially not a fucking grappling industries. And my next 5 opponents like really beat me up. I lost my next 5 matches because I mean I was going out there with an arm I couldn't even bend, and my opponents noticed that and they right away would attack my arm. But I was so determined not to get tapped out again that I was just eating the damage to my arm, and I managed to make the full duration of all the other matches because I just did not want to lose. And as this is happening, my friends are coming up to me and telling me that, like they'll respect my decision if I want to keep going, but if I'm injured, that they think that I should stop. But I was just not receptive to it whatsoever. And remember, I'm still a teenager at the time, and I'm almost like a little scared of adults still. So I didn't want to inconvenience them by telling them that my arm was actually really hurt and potentially broken, which doesn't make any sense, but I guess that's teenager logic for you. And then I know it's really bad because once I start my nogi matches, my arm is really hurting, and I have to put on an arm sleeve on it. And my opponents see it and they all attack it. So I'm just there eating more damage to my arm. And to the point where the ref, every time before I went on a match, he would be like, "Hey man, like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, you can call it. I can just make it a walkover for your opponent, and you're done. Like, you don't have to compete." And I'd be like, "No, no, don't worry, it's fine, I'm fine. I wouldn't want to inconvenience them. Like, they paid for matches and like they're here to compete, so I'll go out there." All very stupid, avoidable stuff like that. And honestly, like, unless it's ADCC finals, if you get injured, just pull out. It's fine. Just come back another day, win another day. Today wasn't your day. Don't be like me. And this is the video of my last match where I actually somehow managed to win because I got my opponent in a triangle, and I couldn't finish the triangle, but I was able to, I guess I was the attacker, and it was a good note to finish the tournament on. But, like, I mean, I don't know if you can see in the video, but anytime he touches my arm, I'm like, wincing. And you see me sweating right there. I wasn't sweating because I was tired. I was sweating from pain. Like, I literally was breaking out into cold sweats because I was under so much pain. But I was convicted that I would not pull out of the tournament, and I was gonna get through those 8 matches, even though I had absolutely no chance of placing, no chance of doing anything. Like, it was all just very stupid. And I intended this video to be purely humorous, but I got so pissed off watching myself and the mindset I had at the time that it ended up being a little bit more serious. But yeah, that's like the competition portion of the story. And I hope it makes the important point that your health is more important than any competition, because the consequences of that match were that I couldn't like open the fridge door for like 3 months afterwards. Like, I couldn't put any tension on my arm whatsoever. And by the way, I didn't take any time off from jiu-jitsu. So treat your injuries, watch your health, and yeah, I mean, that's the main. If you take one thing away from this video, it's that watch your health. Your health is more important than any competition. It's more important than training. It's more important than anything. Just be wary of your health. But to end on a good note, I would be remiss not to admit that I look very fondly on that competition because it was the foundation for some of the best friendships I've ever made. I mean, countless people from Henzo's were there, but more specifically, that was the start of who my parents call El Combo, which is uh, Danny, Zeke, and Saeed and myself, because we all went out there and competed, and we stayed at Saeed's house afterwards. We had pizza, met his parents, and it just was the start. Like, we knew each other before, but to me, that was like the start of us coming together as a group and wanting to improve at jiu-jitsu and working together towards a goal that felt bigger than ourselves. So that's my story, and the video is a little longer than I intended it to be, but it is what it is. I hope you enjoyed it.